We may be in the same boat, but clearly you're the only one wearing a life jacket. You don't go to reason. You always go to mad. And I am sick and tired of you always jumping to the angry black woman of it all. I didn't say that, but you do. You imply it every time you put me in a position to be angry.
You know what your problem is? You think the world sees you as an ugly black woman. You've read my book. Well, I've seen your show, and you're a race baiter.
This segment was supposed to focus on her book. What is this?
What do you want her to do? Some kind of fluff piece? She's asking the questions that people really want to know.
Always the victim, always misunderstood, and you're really just a broken record. You're a woman. I'm a woman. But your mistake is that you seem to think that I only see things through the prism of race because I have black guests and I'm black. If you were really paying attention to my show, you would see that we're not all that different at all. And despite corporate America's ongoing attempts to create a more diverse work environment, a staggering 35% of African Americans claim that they need to compromise their authenticity in order to conform to their company's standards of demeanor or style. When it comes to issues of equality in the workplace, it should never be about black and white. It should be about right and wrong and who's getting the job done.
Garrett has no intention of making you coding.
So why am I being led to believe that I have a future here if I don't?
Garrett trying to pit us against each other. Telegenic rivalry between two black women drives ratings.
I don't think I've ever had an experience in any workplace where there was not a microaggression.
And people try and put us in a box. And when we break out of those boxes, people get so frustrated.
Somebody says, oh, well, I don't really see you as a person of color. You kind of get taken aback and you're just kind of like, ah.
Since I work in higher ed, I always think, I have this idea that the people that I work with are more like quote unquote woke.
I'm perceived as an immigrant, but since I sound educated, people don't place me as an immigrant. They don't necessarily assume that I come from a certain sector of immigrants, and that bothers me.
If you're the only staff member who is of color in a room full of white staff members, it can be more difficult because you then have to find a way to separate out your own identity while you advocate for other people, and that's often very hard.
Well, it's interesting because I work in an all-white institution. The topic of like people of color in the workplace doesn't oftentimes come up, so if you want to discuss it, you have to bring it up.
The premise is everybody's equal. We need to treat all students alike. You always have to navigate that assumption. So mentoring to me is very important. So I think that has trumped, in a way, any competitiveness that I may feel. And
I mostly have to try harder and compete with white women in my field. Women of color in this field that I've seen both through personal and like work relationships, we all very much support each other and try to find different opportunities to kind of raise each other up because there are so few of us.
With the few women that there are, we find ourselves being more allies to each other and trying to empower each other to be the best that we can be, because right now who we're competing against is our white counterparts, right?
I'm not so sure if it's necessarily a race issue, but more a gender/patriarchal system issue.
If that's what success means, then I don't want that success.
Sometimes we're in